Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Diablo 3. My name is Wilfred, and as you know, for Season 14, I've been pretty obsessed with Wizard because I really wanted to make Wizard work. But so far, it's been rather rough journey, a little bit more fragile than I wish she could be. So I put a lot of effort in trying to make it work. So in my previous video, I showed about how I changed some of the Kanai Cube choices to make the Firebird Meteor build, not the Star Pet, just the Meteor Shower build, to be a little bit more durable and playable. But I'm not happy with the kind of like a damage dealt because it's kind of low in DPS. It makes things a little bit slower, and sometimes when the fight is being dragged on, it's getting a lot harder to stay undefeated because sooner or later you'll make some mistake. And then mistake could be costly. So I've really thought about the whole kind of build, and I pick up some of the gear that I have, not optimal, and to change things a little bit, to optimize a little bit. I'm very happy that my Firebird Meteor Shower kind of like a wizard is able to do some high level content, well, relatively higher level content, rather easily, and I would like to show that with you, just in case you are also playing Firebird and you are also like doing a Meteor Shower build, not the Star Pet, which a little bit more complex. And I'm going to show you a clip later on as well when I do another Greater Rift 80 compared to the one before, recorded before. You can see a vast difference between the two, and kind of give you a sense of how important it is sometimes to pick certain gear trade off correctly. All right, so now just a little bit about this build is that if you look at the leaderboard right now, there's a lot of Star Pack kind of build which kind of like use up all the arcane power to deal arcane kind of like meteor. But you need to sort of like regenerate the arcane power and also through a little bit of arcane torrent kind of like mixed up into it as well. So you can get a little bit kind of involving in terms of how you should do. And the teleport would be not using we'll be using the arcane power, but there's no cooldown to it. So it's a lot of like you rush to a next boss pack, and then after that you take them out, and then you rush in another boss pack and take them out. The kind of play style very much like the Necromancer Tragor build, if the thing that you like. But I like this Meteor Shower build because it's very straightforward. So long as you have the magic weapon as well as the ice armor on, a lot of things are just like on auto mode. So whenever I channel the arcane torrent and the meteor will then fall from the sky, it's a very neat and nice and tidy. You just like, you don't need to worry about mashing a lot of buttons, just one button and that's it. Even the Frost Nova, you don't need to cast it manually. Whenever a wizard gets hit, when you lose like 10% of your life, then the Frost Nova will fire off, and even the teleport will get refreshed as well. So it is a very interesting build that you pay attention to what's on the screen versus what's on the hotbar. So you don't need to worry about whether you run out of resources, whether some cooldown need to click or not. It's just nothing like that. Just purely joy and like fluidity, and just play. Just go around and casting your arcane torrent and channeling your getting your meteor just automatically trigger, and when a melee hits you, you even build up your armor kind of a percentage as well, and 3-stat you got like a big buff to your defense. So this build is a very, very fun build in my opinion. Someone who likes something more simple, and simplicity sometimes works. Like for example, Blessed Shield Crusader is also very fun to play. So there's some build that are very, very like Shadow Impel for the Demon Hunter. Also, there's no need to worry about resources, and it's just in general very fun. But there are other build and classes that work a little bit differently as well. So it depends on what rocks your boat. So now the main weakness of this build is that it's very good against the melee targets, but it's very, very poor against the range target. So you tend to get one shot a lot if you're not careful, and that's also a good reason why this build is not listed in the leaderboard, because it's probably just there's a ceiling to what it can achieve. So I initially I used the Canai Cube to put the Aquila Cuirass inside and see, then I've realized that my survivability has increased a great deal. But the problem is that if I don't use the Nefer boost, I'm losing a lot of damage from the meteor. So the main damage of this build is actually do everything buff to the meteor, right? So for example, this one increased the meteor damage by 900% against the Guardian, and as you can see in the clip later on, it just vanished like that, the Guardian. So it's very, very powerful thing. And for example, when you channel through a death wish, you actually all damages are being increased by a certain percentage as well, 325% if you're lucky. So everything you do, every gear that you got is trying to buff your meteor kind of output. So my suggestion, actually my proposal to you, is that I will use the Aquila Cuirass on the chest item instead of the of the Firebird chest item, because I would need to have both Aquila Cuirass as well as the Nefer Boast. So now, which one would you like to use depending on which one you have a better gear? If you have an Ancient for this one and it does 600% of it or 900%, kind of thing, then you would like to use that one. For me, the Aquila Cuirass is not that bad. It's having the right kind of stats, a little bit low on intelligence, but all in all, I'm okay to leave it as it is. And also I get a life after each kill as well. So I kind of stick with this one. Now, of course, the build defining one is that I have both the Aquila Cuirass as well as the Nefer bows, but also I'm using the Ring of the Royal Grandeur to reduce the requirement of the set from 6 to 5. So I'm still getting the full benefit of the Firebird, but without taking all 6 pieces. The sacrifice I have, of course, is the conversion of element, because I'll be lacking the 200% at the fire phase. But I thought to myself, right, because I've been using that. My wizard is only awesome when I'm at the fire phase for 200%, but 200% is nothing compared to that 900% I'm getting here anyway. So that explains why, if you look at my older clip, my gear wise is pretty much the same. When I'm facing a Guardian, it took me a while to take them down. But when I am actually using all this gear, the elite, getting burned out very fast as well. So I strongly suggest, if you are like me, who like a lazy build, want your wizard to be more durable and playable, I would strongly suggest that you take up both the Aquila Cuirass as well as the Nefer Boast, and use the Ring of the Royal Grandeur as just as the requirement reduction. Now, as you can see, the affixes of this thing doesn't really look good at all. So I take quite a bit of DPS reduction. So my DPS was more than 2 million, but now it's only 1.97. But I realized that doesn't really matter, because what really matters is all the green or orange text that you have. So that is what I have. Maybe I just quickly run through the gears I have with you, just in case you are not familiar with the IC Vein website and you're not familiar with this build and wondering how I make it work for Firebird. So basically, I've got the whole set of Firebird except the chest item. I'm using the Ancient Pathan Defender, because I do my Frost Nova auto cast when I lose 10% of health when I hit by melee target. So it kind of this one is good, because every stun enemy I reduce my damage taken by another 11% or 12% if you get lucky. So that is quite a big deal there. I'm using the Hairbrush binding as well, because I would like to reduce my arcane cost, arcane power cost for the Arcane Torrents, and together with the Death Wish. Together with the Grand Visya, that will further reduce my my arcane power cost for the meteor and other things as well. And oh, by the way, this is buffing the meteor damage. Then I have the Etched Sigil, which kind of auto cast my meteor, so that is fine when I'm channeling the power. So that's about it. I mean, the next thing is a header of Alice. Basically, it just automatically casts my Frost Nova when I take 10% of my life in damage. And by the way, just for those quick update, I do end up with a Halo of Carini, but I didn't know it myself. My wife had like, a couple of them, lucky her. And I have yet to see one in this season, so I got it cubed in. But I could use this one, but I realized that if I'm using this one, I'll need to make quite a lot of adjustment to my build, in the sense that I do not wish to do it right now, because I'm at the quite tail end of the season in terms of the journey. So I like to stick with what I have. Power wise, I've got Frost Nova. I've got Frost Nova with the bone chill, so that whatever I chill will take in more damage from me. I've got like a safe passage. Whenever I teleport, I reduce another 25% damage. A magic weapon for ignite, they give me the third kind of like a possibility on the to proc the Firebird affixes, and also I got armor, ice armor crystallized. So when I start struck by melee attack, my armor is being increased 20% up to 60%. That's pretty good. Flame Ward, when I use Arcane Torrents, I use Flame Ward, and actually it's quite useful. I try to do it without, just for fun. I realized that the extra 15% or extra 25% damage reduction, actually you can feel the difference. So yeah, and last but not least, a Meteor Shower is what I'm using. So that is a lazy build. I'm using Blur, which is the decreased damage taken. I'm using the if I take enough amount of my damage, then I'll just like gain the cooldown reset on my teleport. And Unwavering Will, which is just the overall increase in some of my stat if I stand still. And last but not least, I deal extra damage to enemies within me, which I usually do the melee range against all these targets. So I hope in a way you've got some idea of what my build is, and in the next bit of the video I'm going to show you what I've my Greater Rift 80. Not the most perfect run, because it was just a standard run and the map was terrible. There was a lot of backtracking, but still I managed to beat the target by 2 minutes. So I did like 11 minutes before using the build that I had, and then when I changed this gear around, although this gear are pretty lousy in terms of the affixes, I managed to shave off another 2 minutes on the map that is really terrible. A lot of backtracking, there's not enough elite, and as you can see later on, but still I can do it. So I think I can further shave it down to maybe 8 minutes or even lesser than that as I improve my gear. All right. So next bit, the Greater Rift 80 solo. So this is the Greater Rift 80 solo, using this new build that I have, and it's not the most fantastic run, of course. It's just a testing before dinner, and the map is pretty horrible, as you can see later on. So there's a group there, and I managed to burn those things quite fast. I mean, that is done. Pretty nice, as if you want to get things in farm status, you should take down the elite at that kind of speed. So the meteor shower being buffed by the Nefer boast, it does help a lot. So again, this is nothing too scary, just a little bit careful about the electrify kind of thing and modern kind of thing. So, but yeah, as you can see, even without the conversion of element, you're pretty fine, because yeah. And by the way, the ice armor icon, the second one on the left on the hotbar, is basically the 3 stacks of ice armor. That would mean that I have 60% increase in my armor. Armor reduce all the damage, so that is really nice. There is the fourth icon, by the way. Okay, so let me introduce the icons to you, right? So the first one on the left is the from the Aquila Cuirass. So long as my resource is about 90% I'm getting a reduction of 50% reduction. Now, in fact, if you are playing solo, you could use Unity Ring. It's the same thing. But then in a group environment, you still want to, be pretty nice and playable. And so I still would like this build a lot. Then, hang on a second. Then after that, the third icon, the second icon right now is very much the the endless walk. So the more you walk, the more damage you have, and the more you stand still, the more damage you dealt. So that is the 2 icons that keep going up and down, like the second and third icon. I can't remember which one is which, but I think the second one is the one that when you walk, you reduce damage. Then when you stand still, like soon, like now, then then the last icon is the one that increases the damage. Then you see the third icon is the Firebird buff that is from the set 6 items. That will give you a 60% damage reduction as well as a humongous amount of damage boost. So that is nice. And yeah, 20 stat of it whenever you are near an elite or one of the minion, right? So sometimes I don't kill them all just to get the buff to drag on the next pet, but right now I don't really need to optimize in that sense. So as you can see, the Frost Nova is auto cast, so that's pretty straightforward. Nothing really to worry about. Just keep teleporting whenever you lose 10% of life or whenever the teleport is on cooldown. So that's fun. So this map is the one that is one of the most terrible map that I have got. So yeah, you see the elite just dropped like it's that easy. Good with 80. My gear is not really improved that much since the last video I made, if at all. So it's really down to the gear choice I've got that make it like so much easier. So I've got a shield kind of like a shrine, but you can see the entire duration of shield. I haven't even encountered one single elite. So yeah, you can see the kind of like it's just in general a little bit slow. Well, actually, there's an elite there, is it not? Yeah. So well, now that I'm looking at my footage, unfortunately, I can't miss it. Well, okay, I could have gotten one elite, and it could have been a bit easier as well, but I didn't do that. Yeah, silly me. It's always good to review the footage because that's how I improve as well. Whenever I see that there are some moments I should have done better, or avoid some damage, avoid some death, and I learn from it. I learn from my own videotape, believe it or not. So the only thing about shield is that because I'm not taking damage, and if I'm not taking damage, I can't reset my teleport. So yeah, so it's one of those things that I find the mobility is not quite there when I'm shield up. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to take down at least one pack of elite. What a shame. But yeah, so this is the map that got me kind of like, well, it's one of the worst map ever. It's not enough mobs and not enough elite. Just basically, I'm still hunting for elite. Believe it or not, since the last, like at the entrance, there was one elite pack, I think. And then after that, I missed out one elite pack for whatever reason. And now this is the one that I've got. So yeah, imagine my excitement when I saw that. So yeah, that's about it actually. I was trying to get in and out a little bit because I was a little bit worried about the motor. It tends to destroy characters if you're not careful. But yeah, so that is really, that is just another pack, and there's a long walk to the next bit until the next pet, I guess. Yep, there's another pet, fire chain, so I have to be a little bit careful not to get stuck between the fire chain. But to be honest, I mean, at a doorway like that, I can't really see anything that happens there. So, I'm rather happy and delightful that the mob dropped rather fast without a prolonged fight that may probably cause some kind of like, more risk to stay undefeated. So, well, that took a big chunk of damage. Had it not been the Akira Kuras, I think the character would have been dead just now, one shot. Just that I've got 50% damage reduction, it helps a lot. So that is yet another one that I need to sort of like just get out a little bit. And there's one more here. And I don't know why did I ever kill that? Maybe I have, I don't know whether I've collected the purple bubble or not. It didn't seem that I have done that though. Oh, maybe I was hungry. So as you can see, this is not my best performance, but yet I beat my target by 2 minutes. So I'm really happy about it as well. So try to stay into the buff circle of my follower. Other than that, seems alright. And of course, some of this gear like life per hit or life after kill would help in the survivability, of course, no doubt about it. So it's a little bit of like a balance between the two when it comes to like, what kind of stat you want to build a hero. Sometimes you're very much want to follow some of these like leaderboard kind of scenario, because I know some of my friends try to follow the leaderboard like top build but couldn't quite execute the way that others do. Well, mainly because normally the top build may not be the most fun build. I kind of like share the sentiment of my friend, reciprocate in Steam or Yoshi in my network. YouTube network, that the top build is never, sometimes it's not really the most fun build. And also sometimes it quite a heavy investment in gear and so on, because you've got to have some kind of really good gear to pull off some of this, like damage reduction and so on. Some pretty perfect kind of like affixes, shall I say. So I think looking back, it looks rather straightforward because of the definitely my meteor is a lot more powerful, and perhaps my build also because now I've got a little bit more life on hit, a little bit more like a life after kill. So maybe all these things kind of contribute to the fact that it's getting a little bit easier and so on. Now, like I said, this map is horrible. I don't even know where I should go, and I think I'm making a big round trying to go back to where it should have been. So had I not wasted so much time in finding my way, had I not wasted some of these purple bubble that I should have collected or elite that I should have done, I think could have been a lot. What am I doing? There's an elite. Come on, go back. Yeah. I was hungry. What can I say? So you can see, pretty straightforward. Another elite down, and I was trying to get through the wall, but I couldn't. My teleport is not ready. So now grab the power pylon, and that's it. But I think now that I look at my video coverage, I think it was rather easy because I was being buffed by the shrine, I think. So now the Rift Guardian's there, and I was buffed by the shrine actually, but I think that helps a lot, of course. But all in all, I don't think it would have been a problem anyway. So I finished it with the 8 minute 51, and I think a lot of time being wasted just to pace around the map, just to I think 8 minutes or even slightly below is doable if I pay more attention to what's around me, and I think I could do it pretty well in group environment as well with this kind of build, because like I said before, what I could have done was to use a Unity ring, and it would have achieved similar result. And if my if it was on a fire elemental kind of like a ring kind of phase, it could have been a lot more spectacular. But but in a group environment, you can't use Unity ring. So yeah, that's about it. All right. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope for those who are playing Firebird and the lazy build that I'm kind of like using, you also find the kind of joy that I'm having. Without kind of like worry about defeat too much, and you just destroy things, man. All right. So I'll see you next time. Goodbye.